So I think first thing different about us was that we were building for ourselves, right? We didn't like the experience of exchanges. It becomes so complicated for a user like us who've been in the crypto market for 6 years, still find that exchange experience to be too convoluted and too complicated. It's meant for traders and does an amazing job for traders, but it doesn't do a good job for our retail users who are used to Swiggy, Ola, Uber, and kind of Amazon and Flipkart experience, right? And that is where we built this experience for ourselves. The target that we kept for ourselves, can we make it simple enough that our parents can even buy crypto, right? And within a week of our launch, my mother was able to buy crypto through us. I think that was a point we knew that we had something unique to offer to the users, that we have made it simple enough for anyone and anywhere in India to be able to get into crypto, right? And that was the differentiation that we brought in, making crypto easy, making crypto simple, right? With a click of a button, you can invest with just $100. Earlier, people used to think, oh, you need a whole ton of money to be able to get into crypto. Bitcoin was 20 lakh or something. How did we, the messaging and the product kind of mashed together? Rupees $100 kind of became the norm, that you can just start in crypto with $100, which gave a lot of people kind of ability to invest into the market, to be able to learn about the market with a very very small investment, and the product simplicity helped them get into crypto ecosystem very easily.
Hi everyone, I'm your host Siddharth Aluwalia. Before we dive deep into this week's conversation, I would like to thank our sponsors, Prime Venture Partners. Prime is a high conviction, high support investor backing star teams with differentiated ideas. All partners at Prime work actively with the entrepreneurs post investment to accelerate building a great company. Prime focuses on building differentiating companies whose solutions are 10x better and are powered by technology and product. Prime is now investing from its fourth fund of $100 million dollars and is often the first institutional investor in category creating tech startups such as Quizzes, MoneyTap, Neo, and Dozy. To know more about Prime, visit primebp.in. Today, I have with me Ashish Singhal, co-founder and CEO CoinSwitch Kuber. CoinSwitch Kuber transformed how Indians invest in cryptocurrency. A lot of credit to them for making cryptocurrency mainstream in India. It's the first company to be backed by A16Z in India. Welcome, Ashish, to the podcast.
Thanks, Siddharth, for inviting me.
Ashish, would love to know your journey before you started CoinSwitch. Right, you dabbled into entrepreneurship. What were your lessons? What things worked? What didn't work?
Sure, sure. So let me quickly give you a brief on who I am and what my journey has been like. Born and brought up in Meerut, did my computer science grad from NSIT Delhi. Right after that, joined Amazon, worked there for 4 years, built a lot of products there, a lot of tech. One important aspect and all that was uh, Amazon 1 hour delivery, which was a Jeff B project. So Jeff Bezos himself picked like 20 people out of Amazon, put them in a room and give them an impossible task to do. And I was leading that team for Prime 1 hour delivery launch, which most of us are so used to now of that delivery aspect, but that was very new back in 2014-15 when we launched. After Amazon, I went on to start my company called Urban Tailor, which was helping create an Uber for tailors around, giving users the best fit garments at at the convenience of their home. The idea didn't pan out the way we thought. There were a lot of operational issues, a lot of quality issues. We couldn't create the quality spectrum that we wanted in the company, and we shut down in 2016. I joined LiveSpace after that, worked there for 1 year, building a lot of home interior, design tools. Uh, 2017 is where I started CoinSwitch, and so far the journey has been really fulfilling. Some of the most important lessons I've learned throughout this career is that don't be afraid of failure, right? Always optimize for success, but be prepared for failure. I think that is one thing that has always pushed me to do more, to do better, because failure is one thing that we all are afraid of ultimately, right? But once you kind of rationalize that, once you see beyond failure, that it's not the end of the world, what is the worst that can happen, and be prepared for the worst, but always optimize for your success. I think that is has been one key constant throughout my career, be it leaving Amazon, be it failing at a startup, or starting another one, right? So that has always pushed me always to get higher and to be better every single day.
And how did your interest in cryptocurrency started? When was this?
It started back in 2013 when I read the Bitcoin white paper. I still don't remember how I stumbled upon it. Maybe through Reddit, 4chan, and other places. But once I read it, it kind of opened up the entire financial ecosystem to me. I being an entrepreneur, being an introvert, I always thought that finance industry is uh, you know closed ecosystem where only the participants could innovate, and anyone coming from outside has no value add to that industry. But by reading the Bitcoin white paper, I understood that the financial tech can be opened up, can be made based on code rather than people, and that's what excited me towards Bitcoin. It was very hard in 2013-14 to get into crypto. I started a node, running a node for Bitcoin validation. Then got my first Bitcoin in 2015, started trading it, and then over time got my interest completely aligned with the crypto world. And in 2017, then we started CoinSwitch.
And what made you start CoinSwitch, right? What was the gap in the market that you were seeing?
So, just to give you a little background into us a bit more, which helps you relate to why we started CoinSwitch. So, we are hackers. So, all three of us have been friends for 14 years, me, Govind, Vimal, right from day one of college. Have been hackers. Any hackathon in India that you can think of, we would have won it, including Sequoia Hack, Google Code for India, LinkedIn Hack. And the idea of CoinSwitch actually started as a hack, which later grew to what it is today. We started with a very simple problem that we were ourselves facing. Price of a crypto was varying across exchanges. There were tons of exchanges in the market, global phenomena, 24/7 market. So the price fluctuations kept on happening. It was harder for a trader to get in at the right time, know the best price at any given point in time, and convert at that exchange as well. Because then you need, accounts across exchanges, be familiar with their UI, UX. So what we thought of building for ourselves is, can we aggregate the data from all the different exchanges and help convert crypto to crypto at the best rate any given point in time. We made the think of us like a make my trip for cryptocurrencies, helping you discover the best price as well as convert one crypto to another very easily, right? We built it for ourselves back in it's early 20 late 2016, early 2017, and then made it public within the first 6 months, realizing that a lot of users had the same problem, and it kind of just blew up from there. Within a month of our launch, public launch, we were doing $1 million GMV a day, got funded by Sequoia, and kind of took that journey from there, and expanded to 160 plus countries, doing quite a lot of stuff in between.
And when was your first round of funding that happened?
It happened in late 2017. So we started this company when we were still part of LiveSpace, ran it for a few months before we decided to actually build a company and start doing it full time. Within the 10 days of us working together, Sequoia approached us. They liked what we were doing. They liked the team. And within a week or so, the entire funding happened. And we partnered with Sequoia and has worked with them for the past 3 to 4 years now.
Wow. And any other investors that you got in the first round, any angels that were strategic to you?
So there were a couple of angels. Gautam, who is a great crypto believer, have been in crypto since 2013, and we also have Prashant Malik, founder of Road, part of the journey. We have Ramakant, and who was a founder of Lipspace, where I was working before starting CoinSwitch, and he supported us throughout our journey as well. So these three angel investors also joined us at the start of our journey.
And you suddenly came into limelight in 2021. Any strategic reasons that you kept a low profile during the first 3, 4 years?
So since 2017, it was a global product, right? And we were not operating in India because of the RBI ban itself. So we grew very rapidly in the other countries, but in India, our presence was mostly unknown. We never, we are not a company who runs after VC money and do a lot of marketing. We started very humble start, trying to solve the user problem and never discount, never no marketing at all for the first 3 years, trying to grow very steadily into the market. In 2020 we almost had over $10 million in profit recorded, but in 2020 something drastic happened when the RBI ban got reverted in India. And at that point we decided to launch in India because we saw a very big gap in India. What we realized was retail users in India were underserved. A retail user who is used to the experience of Swiggy or Zomato, add to cart checkout, food is at your home, or one click cab booking, online ordering from Amazon and Flipkart, were kind of forced to go to an exchange, understand complicated graphs, complicated order books to get into crypto. First, crypto is so complex. Now you put that experience on top of it. We assume that people will never get into crypto unless we simplify it, and that's where we launched Kuber back in June 2020, almost 17 months back. And that's where our real journey began. We paused our global operations to focus totally on India. Within the first 6 months, got to over 1.5 million users organically, then grew today about 13 million users in just 17 months, one of the fastest fintech company in India to ever reach that mark, funded by the likes of Anderson Horowitz, Coinbase, Tiger, Ribbit, Paradigm, and Sequoia, like the best of the best fintech leaders in India and around the world.
And I believe your subsequent rounds happened very fast, right?
Yeah.
So you continued on that 2 million for 3 4 years, which you raised from Sequoia in
Yeah.
2017. Can you take through that journey, right, of becoming profitable as you mentioned, and then raising like very fast subsequent rounds to become today a $2 billion company?
So I think running a business was always in our DNA, and we always wanted to do right. We never wanted to, just have VC money, and unless we have product market fit, never wanted to invest in that. We wanted to invest in the product itself. We wanted to keep on fighting until we actually solved user problem, and that ultimately impacted business. Since 2017, after the Sequoia round, we never needed the money because the company became profitable, solving the right problems of the user and kind of growing, not the rapid pace that we have seen in Kuber, but kind of steadily growing across. But when we launched Kuber, it kind of just, the target for our first 6 months was 100,000 users. We blew up that target and we reached about, say, 2 million users in the first 6 months itself. That was kind of a proof that we have hit product market fit. We have hit the right problem. We are solving the right problem for India, and that's where all our funding rounds happened very quickly, right? And at that point the idea was that since we have a product which is users are recognizing and it's solving the needs for the users, why not double down, create an education around crypto itself? Because what we saw in the market was less than 10 million users were part of the crypto economy in India. So the idea was, how do we expand the market itself? And that's where you see a lot of our campaigns are more toward educating users into figuring out what this crypto ecosystem is about and whether they want to be part of it or not. And a lot of our funding now goes into creating that education, expanding the market itself.
And can you take through each of those subsequent rounds
Sure.
and how did that happen?
Sure. So I think Series A was the only round which was a pull rather than a push. All our funding rounds has been a push where investors came to us and kind of just happened. But getting Ribbit and Paradigm was the first time that we had to actually pull them into the company. And always, company was never in the need of money. I think that was a good advantage for us, so that we could choose the right partners in our journey. And Ribbit, Mickey, Nick has been amazing people that I've always looked up to. And getting them on board into the company was hard, but they believed in the crypto vision. They were the first one who backed Coinbase in their Series A as well. So they knew the risk that they were getting into. They couldn't find the right team before us in India, but once we met them, they realized that we could be the team that they can back in India, right? And they could really relate to the story of what they have actually seen with Coinbase happening in the US, and they could see that repeating in India through us as well, right? And that's why they decided to partner with us. Paradigm, Matt and Fred is a co-founder of Coinbase himself. He saw, very similar alignment what Coinbase had in the US, culturally as well as product wise. We had that in India as well, right? And they decided to partner us with us back in December 2020, and that's how our Series A happened. Tiger was very interesting. In February, even the news of ban was out. I think it was about 17th or 18th of February when Tiger kind of approached us. It went like a breeze. Within a day, we had the signed term sheet, everything ready, and I think the round closed by March, April. And then the next round started. Again, this was not something that we wanted to raise, but kind of we met the right people and realized that having them in the company could actually benefit not just the crypto, the system that we have, CoinSwitch, Kuber, but also the crypto ecosystem in India itself, right? So talking to Anderson Horowitz and Coinbase, we realized that what is the depth of knowledge that these guys had, and bringing them on board would be one of the best things that we can do for the company, and that's how the last round happened.
That's a fantastic story. So basically, what people see is in a year you were able to raise 3 to 4 rounds, but what they are not able to see is the depth of the iceberg, which is right. You kept on building it for
Yeah,
frugally for the last 4 years,
yeah,
and kept on building internal systems as well as
yes.
testing it globally. Uh, uh, so at what point you realized that India became a bigger market than the global which you were building for?
I think within the first 3 months we realized that, right? Our pre-launch was, I don't have the numbers and I might be wrong here, but one of the most successful pre-launches in India itself. Within the 12 days that we opened our pre-launch, we had over 100,000 users signed up before even our product was out, right? That kind of indicated that we have something unique. And once we launched the product, I iterated on it. Within the first 3 months, we hit our target, which we set out for, even 6 months. We hit over 250,000 users in the first 3 months itself, which kind of told us that the depth in India was much, much higher. The product that we have gotten is not just able to attract the people who are already in crypto, but able to simplify it to such a level that now new people are coming onto the platform at a much, much faster pace, right? And within those 3 months we realized that we need to focus full attention to the India business, and we paused our global operations to focus just on India.
And but when you entered in 2020 in Indian market with Kuber, the market was crowded. I think there were more than 30 exchanges in India. How did you differentiate yourself in the user's eyes, and what gave you insight that you could be different?
So I think first thing different about us was that we were building for ourselves, right? We didn't like the experience of exchanges. It becomes so complicated for a user like us who've been in the crypto market for 6 years, still find that exchange experience to be too convoluted and too complicated. It's meant for traders and does an amazing job for traders, but it doesn't do a good job for our retail users who are used to Swiggy, Ola, Uber, and kind of Amazon and Flipkart experience, right? And that is where we built this experience for ourselves. The target that we kept for ourselves, can we make it simple enough that our parents can even buy crypto, right? And within a week of our launch, my mother was able to buy crypto through us. I think that was a point we knew that we had something unique to offer to the users, that we have made it simple enough for anyone and anywhere in India to be able to get into crypto, right? And that was the differentiation that we brought in, making crypto easy, making crypto simple, right? With a click of a button, you can invest with just $100. Earlier, people used to think, oh, you need a whole ton of money to be able to get into crypto. Bitcoin was 20 lakh or something. How did we, the messaging and the product kind of mashed together? Rupees $100 kind of became the norm, that you can just start in crypto with $100, which gave a lot of people kind of ability to invest into the market, to be able to learn about the market with a very, very small investment. And the product simplicity helped them get into crypto ecosystem very easily, right? So I think these two combined helped us differentiate in the industry and help us get to where we are today.
And how did you went about educating your users?
So initially we didn't had to, because what was happening was there was a lot of crypto buzz already in the country, although the number of users were less, but people already knew what crypto was. So our target was to get to the people who already know what crypto is, right? But as we started to grow, we realized that now we need to expand the market as well, because now more people need to know whether what this crypto is about, what the new internet is building, whether they want to be part of it, stay on the sidelines, or be against it. That is totally up to them, but it's our job to educate them, to help them understand this is something new which is happening, and do they want to be part of this ecosystem, right? That's where we tied up with some of the largest publications like NDTV, creating shows about crypto. Our Kuber Verse, which is one of the most read blogs today in crypto in India. We originated that, producing content, helping user not just understand what crypto is, but what crypto investment actually means, why the market is so volatile, what different currencies stand for, and how are this new asset class is emerging not just in India but across the world as well, and how world is looking at the crypto assets, right? So I think creating that education really helped push the boundaries of the market itself.
And you brought in Ranveer uh, uh, to be the brand face. How do you go about thinking on these lines, right? Who to bring, uh, who to tie up with, right? And what are some of the organic channels? Like these are all inorganic channels for growth.
Yes,
What are some of the organic channels that
sure.
help you reach the first 100,000 in India, then 1 million, and currently today the 13 million number?
Yes. So I think let's first talk about the inorganic channels, right? Because I think organic channels, right? Because that is the crux of any product. Are you able to grow consistently without spending money? Are your users becoming the champions of your product and recommending your product to other users as well, right? So we focused a lot on that. Our K factor is almost zero point 0.4, which is one of the best out there, if you look at the numbers of different products out there, right? So the idea was that, can we make it simple for users to get into crypto, plus once they refer, can we give them $50 into their wallet and help them invest in the market without actually investing in the market, right? So even with the $50, they would come every day, look at, oh, it has become 55, why the prices are growing. They would learn about crypto and finally decide to invest in it. So giving them a flavor of investment without actually investing in the market was kind of our playbook in our growth, right? I don't like the word growth hack, but that was actually a growth hack, how we grew so fast, right? Because now, without even investing, people were able to see the market fluctuate. People were able to relate to the market, learn about the market as if their own money is invested into the ecosystem. And referral played a big role. When a friend invites you to something, then you're already excited about that. You get $50 to play around with, and then through that you can see the market movements and start to learn about the market and realize whether this is a good investment for you or not, right? So I think that continuously building that funnel through organic channels kind of helped us uh, initially get to the 2 million plus users. And then obviously, to expand the market, we needed to simplify the messaging. We needed to push it to the mass market itself, and that's where Ranveer Singh helps. He's a youth icon. Today most of our users are Gen Z populations. They've seen him across his films and admire his work, and that's where, through his admiration, through his relatability, is what we want to drive the crypto messages with, that it's simple. There's a new asset class which is happening. Learn about it, and you can start as low as rupees 100 as an investment.
But it's also in your messaging that crypto is not very volatile, whereas as a currency, it's extremely volatile. So how do users build their faith in this
Sure.
currency as a long-term investor rather than a short day trader?
So first, I want to put that on record. Nowhere in our messaging you would find that crypto is stable. We always say crypto is volatile. It is a volatile market. It is a new asset class, right? So that would be unfair to say that
Yeah.
we put a message where it says it's a stable currency. But what we say is crypto is building the new internet. Crypto is like investing in a startup, right? And startups are very unpredictable as well, and that's why volatile as well. If you look at our own journey, we kind of were, under the hood for about 3 years, then kind of blew up in just 1 year, right? So it was a volatile journey for us as well, and crypto is very similar. People around the world are building use cases, building new companies on blockchain, which serves a greater purpose. Tomorrow's Google, Facebook, Microsoft, we believe would originate on blockchain, right? And hopefully would come from India, right? And today, retail investors are getting to invest in these new ecosystem, new startups itself. Some of them may fail as well as the time goes by, but some of them may succeed as well. So it's a risky asset class, but it's high risk, high reward is what attracts young users into the ecosystem. And over time, we believe that they would diversify into other asset classes as well and form a more matured ecosystem. And that's why CoinSwitch wants to evolve from a crypto only company to a crypto first company. Today, crypto is what we are known for, but tomorrow we want to add mutual fund, stocks, US equities, bonds into our ecosystem, helping user diversify across these platforms and helping them create a better portfolio, a better future for themselves, where investing is a big part of their, when they think about money, they not only think about earning more, they also think about investing in the right manner in order to grow in their life.
So is crypto exchange in India a winner takes all market, or uh,
So it
can many
is to
players
an
survive?
extent. So it's not winner take all. I think it's couple of winners at the top, because ultimately it's about liquidity, right? So if you have users, you have demand and supply. If you don't have users, you don't have demand and supply. So ultimately, it creates that chicken egg problem, that a new player becomes harder and harder for him to tap into the liquidity, uh, because now he doesn't have the users that he need to create that liquidity. But we have seen, companies like us, companies like FTX, kind of renovate the way the supply and demand matches each other, and kind of establish themselves even when the big players existed in the market, right? Binance owns 70% of the liquidity, right? Still, FTX became the number two player in the world, because of their innovation, because of what they brought to the table. So this industry is very new, very unique. Uh, Ultimately, obviously, there would be few players which would be doing very, very well, and there would be few players who would try to innovate even further. Who those winners would be, obviously only time can tell. But it's not that, if there are two players at the top, then no other company can innovate and do better and become a top leader in few years, right? So it's a very, very unique industry where innovation is ultimately what wins the market.
And we have seen in consumer internet, right? And today, CoinSwitch Kuber is one of the leaders in consumer internet and investing in India. In consumer internet, only like it's a duopoly, if not
Yeah.
monopoly, right?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
Swiggy and Zomato,
Yes.
Ola and Uber.
Yes.
Uh, uh, so, uh, and it comes with a very different DNA. Whereas in the first 4 years, you had a DNA of a founder who was very profitable,
Yeah.
operationally efficient. So how did you switch to this side of DNA where you are okay with spending huge on customer acquisition, making losses for the long term?
Sure. By the way, we might still be profitable this year. So it's not that, we would not be a
Yeah.
profitable company going forward. But the idea was that switch happened because now we realize that the market that we are in is much bigger and it's needed to expand as well. Sometimes you need to create the market to be able to have better returns towards the end, right? Today, less than 1% of India invest beyond fixed deposits, which is a very sad number to look at, right? If you compare it to US, over 25 to 30% of the people invest beyond their, banking needs, right? Obviously, 401k there helps, but in India, that nature needs to build in order to grow in your life. you not only just need to earn more, but you need to grow your money. And I think that is what we are trying to change in India. And for that to happen, a lot of education needs to go out, a lot of investment from the companies need to go out before we mature the market to that level, right? We have seen that even in the stock market in the last 1 year, there's amazing growth that has happened, right? Not as big as crypto, but it's amazing to see the kind of growth other financial products is happening in India as well, right? So it's the amount of investments that all of these companies try to put in for the education to kind of grow the market itself, realizing the need of investments very early in a user's life cycle, and how these investments should evolve over the period of time. The goal of CoinSwitch is to reach 100 million users in the next 4 years, right? Which is a very audacious goal in a fintech ecosystem. But we believe that through the right investment, we can make that happen, right? So it is more looking out toward that future, and in the next 4 year, can we create that impact, right? And to create that impact, we need to invest today, maybe at a cost of being a loss making company. But if we don't do that today, we would not reach that big goal that we all want to achieve.
So currently, as you said, you have 13 million Indian users on
Yeah,
CoinSwitch Kuber right now, which is approximately what we can sell if there are like 1% of India's population, or it will be
it's
like
about
less than
yeah,
that.
a little less than that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would be the time you predict that you will cross that 1% of India's population and then hit the next milestone of crossing the next 10% of India's population, getting them on CoinSwitch?
So we are very close to 1% now. I think India is about 150 crore. So we are about almost 1.3 crore. So I think within a couple of months we should be able to reach that 1% mark. But the 10% would be the harder percentage to reach. Although the number might sound small, reaching from 15 to say 150 million is only 10x. But that is a harder population to reach, because now we have already gotten a lot of people who knows investment, who have at least an affinity towards growing their money. But now we would be targeting the segment who don't think about investment. Investment is not part of their life itself. And how do we educate them that investments are good, and a diversified investment is what helps you do better in your life, right? So that would be a much harder and a different journey altogether for CoinSwitch, right? And hopefully we should be able to achieve a target of 100 million users in the next 4 years, while providing the right set of education, bringing the right set of users onto our platform.
And as a founder, how did you grow yourself? Because your company uh, like expanded 100x in a matter of 1 year. So
That's
how
that's
did
an amazing question, Siddharth. And it felt like that every quarter we needed to step up. There were different responsibilities altogether on our shoulders. When we started, we were playing all the roles together, right? Be it product, tech. We were the ones who were designing as well. We didn't had any designer when we started this journey itself. And over time, uh, the game become of delegation. How do you build the right team? How do you get the right folks excited, and give them direction to achieve what they want to, align them to the vision, right? And obviously as a founder, get to learn new qualities on how to manage a team of about 400, which 1 year ago was just 20 people, right? So we have obviously learned from the amazing ecosystem that today lies in India, right? We have partnered with X to 10x to get that information from Binny, Venki themselves on building the likes of Flipkart, Ola into the country, right? And today, founders are very approachable. They share their struggles with us. They help us rethink on how do we take on the challenges of the next phase of our journey as well, right? So that is very encouraging to see within the startup community, especially in Bangalore, that people are so helpful. They're ready to share what they have learned by probably failing or experimenting in their own journey, so that you can do better, right? And I think through that we were able to do consistently better. Obviously it's not it's a never ending process, and will keep on going. As the company evolves, we have to constantly evolve as well, to be to be good, to be able to do the more of the right, less of the wrong. And hopefully, through the kind of ecosystem that exists in India, we would be able to do that well.
And if you can highlight like three bullet points, right, which helped you grow, right? What are the things you did differently in the last 1 year that
I
help
think,
you expand?
yeah, sure. I think first is user obsession, right? So, like that we have learned from Amazon itself. User always comes first. Business comes second, right? So, figure out what are the main problems that your users are facing, and keep on solving them. Not just solve them on how it is solved in the industry, but do better than that, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Always start from what solution already exists, but how do you provide a better solution from there. Don't focus on 10 different problems. Probably focus on just three main problems of the user and solve them better. And that is one thing that we have consistently done at CoinSwitch. Second, there is no growth hack. There is no switch you can flip that you are today nothing and tomorrow you would be everything. You have to work on consistent growth, right? Every week target 5% growth. And I think if you are consistently able to do that, the graph may look smaller toward the start, but when you look back, you would see what you have achieved throughout your journey. And lastly is, again, I would repeat the same thing which I said earlier: don't be afraid of failing, right? uh, be optimistic, prepare the best you can for the failures, but always try to succeed in the market, right? So, although the failure may look so daunting, the new things that you try to do may feel like, oh, what if I fail in this? But go beyond that fear, rationalize that fear by, figuring out what if the worst case happened, what are the circumstances, and many of the times you will not even think that the failure is so bad. Probably we will learn amazing things from it and do better the next time, right? So I think these are the three main things that I keep in mind whenever I try to do anything.
And if you have to go back to your roots, where would you say you got your entrepreneurial DNA? Don't tell me it's Meerut because I'm also from Meerut, so that's a common link, right? And seen many entrepreneurs coming from the small town uh, of Meerut. But I think there's certain quality that uh, uh, people are not afraid of failure, or in cities where are smaller cities where people are more families are more into business. Does that help?
It may, I may not know, because my family is full of engineers and doctors. So my father's side is complete doctors. I'm the only businessman in my family. So I wouldn't know if having a business actually helps. I hope it does. But I think where I get my spirit is from my father itself. Uh, he has always taught me never to be afraid. Always do things, even if you fail, it's okay, right? And I think, and always I wanted to create something, even when I was small, I had that feeling. I always, although this may sound like a cliche, but create the dent in the universe. I think the Steve Jobs, what he has said, has always resonated with me. But I think few of the things which kind of changed my life when I actually got into Amazon was that Ben Horowitz books, Hard Things About Hard Things, was one of the things that kind of changed my outlook toward business. Business always used to look very very fascinating, where you can earn a lot of money, have a lavish lifestyle as well, but that kind of gave me the reality check as well. That is this the right thing for me, or for my career? And I felt that this was something that I was ready for. Reading a lot of about startup school from Y Combinator, Paul Graham, essays and videos have always taught me to create something remarkable, to create something good for the user, and that has always excited me, right? And that is how I got into what I'm doing today and what I do every single day is changing the way people see things, simplifying the things that exist today and make them better. And if you consistently keep on making them better, one day you would realize that you have created a change. You have actually created a dent in the universe, and I think that's what drives me from a very early age in my life.
Thank you so much, Ashish. It's been a pleasure having you on 100x Entrepreneur Podcast.
Thanks a lot, Siddharth,
Thank you
for
for
inviting
sharing
me.
your insights, your experiences, and the journey of CoinSwitch.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.